Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of SnowFool here in City Skylines, where today we're going to hopefully build on the other side of the river and start by placing down some of our administration buildings to create a kind of like a city centre feel and vibe to the area. Now, if you guys are enjoying SnowFool and want to see more of this series and can't wait for more to come out, then smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new around here so you get notified when more episodes do come out. But we are back in this beautiful city, and just take a look at it right now. I mean, it has its problems, but this is looking so damn good. Holy moly, this is looking so crazy. And today we're going to take a look at kind of expanding and working in the middle over here. So what I want to do is I want to lay down a couple of roads, some 4-lane roads, which would be the main through routes within the city over on this side that would lead to highway connections. I then want to kind of build up our administrative, that's what I'm calling it right now, area, where we're going to have the courthouse, a tax office, a couple of high density skyscraper-y building stuff to kind of create the city centre vibe before we then create the urban sprawl from coming off and around it. So I'm kind of excited about this. So let's just jump straight into it then. So what I need to do then is I need to figure out where I want my highway connections to kind of be in place. And that's going to then determine where my 4-lane roads are pretty much all going to run. Probably have to build a couple of roundabouts here and there as well, but we can probably save that for a later date when we kind of build more up about it. And I don't know whether to go for like a different style of 4-lane road in this area, just because, you know, it's different from the main part. And by different, I mean they're not connected. So, let's just see. I say we'll go different. We'll probably still select the same kind of thing anyway. Now, do I do it with trees in the middle or trees on the outside? That's probably the big one. I might go for trees in the middle. Now, we've got the 4-lane avenue with parking and trees. This one has no parking. So, this one gives the ability to park, apparently. So this could be a good idea. It could be actually a bad idea to allow them to park on these 4-lane roads. But we're going to base our first one just off here. So I'm going to bring this out just by 20 just there. There we go. We'll then pick another one, which I'm going to do it further along down here, which will probably go with... Do you know what? We'll probably make it there. No, we'll go over a bit more because I'm thinking of the connection. We'll go to about there and bring this up by a 20 as well. So we're going to have a connection to the highway there, a connection just here. Now these are highway connections that allow us to then enter the ground level. And then I reckon we're going to need at least 2 up here as well. So if I went with one about here, how does that look? Oh, I don't know if I want to push it a little bit further back. Like say here. Because that's going to bend down and then cut through. Connection there. Connection there. Do you know what? I can see us having at least 3. Now, these connections in question, they're going to be either a trumpet or there'll be an overpass to where we then create kind of like a connection like this where it goes over the highway and then we have our on and off ramps. So it'll kind of be a mixture. Mainly these here. Well, this one definitely will be a trumpet. These might not. Even that might just be a normal overpass or underpass because the highway goes above it. So it'll be quite interesting to see how we kind of evolve the connections. We'll have one more just there, and I reckon then that's our 5 connections for now that we'll utilize for this highway to ground connection. Right, interesting. Very interesting. So I'm kind of wanting to also work with some type of a grid, right? So it might be a case of I figure out where the road will run through, and then we'll intertwine every connection to that road. So just give me a moment right now. We'll kind of level it all off to something like this. So if I just run this up to about there, and if I go 20 this way, 20 that way, and then we've got our road layout, which is now parallel to the highway, okay? It's now parallel to the highway. So we're going to do a couple of little bits of magic right now to get this connected. And I don't know whether I want to rely on the connection tool. Maybe not too early just yet. But if I went to here And this is where the magic now all happens. Do I go for a big 20 by 20? Oh, a big 20 by 20, boys. And then how would this look? I don't know. How this is going to go down. Oh, 15 by 15. 15 by 15. Nice little wiggle around. That would be quite nice. That would be quite nice. Now, we'll still have 4-lane roads that obviously come down this way, but they'll either go underneath here and connect up, probably not in this area, or just come to like a general end. Maybe I build my administration area kind of. I want it kind of central, which would be quite nice as well. Right, so I don't want this to be mainly line all the way through, but then again, I kind of did it around here, but then again, a lot of it bends away. So that kind of works out. So what I reckon we do is at this point here, I'm going to bring this down, and is there a way that we can then maybe connect these up to some type of a bend? Now obviously the closer we get, the more harsher the bend's going to be, or the more tight the bend's going to be. Like, we're a little bit too close here now. So let's see where this now takes place. So a 16 by a 16, a little bit of a bend, well, bam. So that kind of blitz all the way through. These roads are leaning. I'm not sure if that one's going to be a little bit too close or too tight, but it all should work out fairly well anyway. So all of this is based on the alignment of the highway, which it doesn't need to be. So what I could do is come off it myself and then end it just there. Alright, delete all of this. So it's much more of a squarer connection to each of the highway roads. And I reckon what we'll do here is come off this one like this by a 20. And then if I push this up. Right, I'm going to delete this because we're going to do like a little bit of a wiggle bend. So 20 is probably enough to where it's a little bit out of the way of a roundabout if I do throw a roundabout in. But I feel like we might have to delete you back there. But then again, it will... I don't know. I don't know how this is going to connect. It might be a little bit too far away. It depends on what the bend looks like. So if I obviously increase the bend... and we went something like... It's decided to elevate. It's decided to elevate. Oh, no, no. Oh, no, I pressed the wrong button. I thought we were confirming it. 6 by 6. So it's a little bit out the way for where this connection then takes place. And I'm just thinking about doing something a little bit different rather than your just standard connections leading in. Now for this, what we'll do is we'll naturally bend this in. And that's a way to kind of end the run of the actual 4-lane road. So let's place this in then. I don't know how big this bend is now going to be. So does he not want to pick up the connection? Right, there we go. It's 35. What's that? 35 by 30. We've got to make that an even 30, right? We've got to make that an even 30. So come out by a... Wait, what's going on here? Excuse me. Come out by a 5, and then we bend a 30 by 30. And that's how that road then pretty much ends. And then we'll connect a road into here. So we'll probably utilize it from here. So come out by a 20. So I want the straightness of the 20. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm going to, okay, a little bit further up. We'll go by this one here. So straightness of the 20, because obviously you come out far enough that it allows us then to have a little bit of space to play with if we throw a roundabout down before any bend in this road then takes place. Wait, what's going on here? Is it better to do this one? It's like I was too short, then too far. You can't make my mind up, can I? So, bringing this up to here, 18 by an 18. Now, why is it doing that? Oh, wow. I've accidentally selected a different style of road. Well, that's all good, right? Yeah. So, all these roads are now leading places, which is all good. We'll still get the odd one or two here now connected. That will probably just end even very generically. But it could also lead us to end runs here and there. I can't see it's taking us anywhere else. This road there will bend in to connect to that connection. And all this stuff then will just kind of come to its natural end in many ways. But they're the main routes for the 4-lane roads all now tearing through. Now, I'm not going to worry about connecting them up just yet. I kind of want to design my my downtowny vibed area. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create like a main focal point for this. And I think I want it to all kind of lead towards something like the courthouse or something like that. So, what is this here? This is our stock exchange, not you. We have treasure hunts. Oh, that's still going on. It's within all this, isn't it? Yeah. Hold on. Let me just find the building in question. So we have obviously the tax office. We have the courthouse. Now I feel like we're going to lead it to the end of the courthouse, which by that logic, I'm going to put like a small little city park in there, and the courthouse be at the very end. But I'm not too sure how far to run it down. Then I'm going to build a few buildings around it and down the sides. Yeah, that could be very interesting. So I've just now got to figure out then where my center points now are, because this becomes, I've got to do an 11 by 11. You know what I mean? I've got to do that annoying system right now. So up 11 is just there. By 11 and 11. So that's my 11 by 11 system. It's got to do it over here as well. So 11. 11. There we go. Now, I'm expecting this not to be equal. But I can buffer this through what we do in the park. So it's a 65. So if I do a 25 and I do a 25... No, actually, we should just stick to a 20 by 20. And then that space in the middle will be buffered by the city park that we're going to build. So if I lead this up to 30 by 25. There we go. A little bit of a city park there and the courthouse at the very end. So if I whack down the courthouse anyway, which will be just about there, it'll be at the very end of this run of city park that we're going to build. Now, there's the entry points, which obviously I don't want. I don't want my entry points for the road to kind of be there. We'll add this in just here, and that one just there is the Chrissy Crossies. We'll lead this up, which is by a 30, and in. And we'll do a connection there and there. This one would be the connection in, which I'll lead to this one over here being it as well. And it all slowly comes together. And obviously it will keep leading backwards and kind of go around us as well. So we'll try and get a 20 around it. And then where's that connection? It's probably easier to do it this way. Around my courthouse. Nice. Nice. Okay. I'm getting too excited for this. Right, so let's throw a little bit of a city park in there. And we'll start then with our main gate, which we'll put... I'll put the main gate opposite the courthouse, and we'll do a little Chrissy-crossy for the road as well. Make life a little bit easier for us. We'll make the park a little bit bigger. There we go. And we'll throw in a bunch of little side gates. Now the side gates were put on each of the road connections just here. And then we'll lead it then down with one at the very end. I'm not sure if that path is now centered. It is. And we'll just simply do it like this. No need to do anything too crazy. Bunch of little side gates. And then we'll put a bunch of stuff just to kind of fill it all up and give it its attractiveness for the leisure. Very good, very good. Squeeze as much as I can in. Couple of little gazebos down. Get some of the brown gazebos in. We've got the climbing frame park. And of course the trampoline park. So gotta fill it with trees, but I'll leave that again for a little bit later. So that's now all in. Now I think it's wise that I now start placing in a bunch of the other unique buildings as well. So this is where we now start to build it all up. We got like why does it keep glitching on me like that? Now we got to build like all these like I said, administration buildings. We've got a tax office we're gonna throw in just there. Let me start from the beginning anyway. So, oh, I could do the city arch. That could be quite fun. I don't know where I'd put that though just yet. Not 100% sure. We've got the old clock tower as well, which is at the opposite end. Okay, some of this stuff is going to be placeholders until I figure out where I want everything. And I will place the other buildings down too. I just want the administration buildings down first. Clusters or offices, you can't really class that as it. We've got the official park. Ooh, see, a lot of this stuff is pretty good to squeeze in, but I don't want to get too much of it in just yet. We have the Grand Library. No. We got the Opera House. We got the Oppression Office. When in need of oppression. Again, good vibes. Good vibes only. We'll throw this in. So we'll throw it in. Oh, where do I put this in? Maybe around the side of the courthouse? Yeah, I'll go just here with that one on the very side of it. It keeps glitching. Every time I do something right now, the game's glitching out. And what else we got we can kind of throw in? That'd be pretty good. Servicing buildings, the academic library, aviation club, science. What's over here? We got the Sphinx, of course. And any other oldie buildings? I would have thought there'd be a lot more oldie buildings than this that I could have utilized. But you got to be careful I don't put too much down, because if you put too much down, you cause quite a bit of traffic in the area. So let's look at some of the other buildings then, like this servicing building. This may be a little bit too big. Too big, boys. The official park, I can throw just on the side there. We've got the Grand Library. Might be a little bit too out of place, right? Do you know what? No, I don't think it will. I don't think it will. I'm going to throw that just there. It's the oldest, older buildings. I'm trying to think like, you go to like an old European city, and where would all the big old school buildings be? Kind of all close together, right? Kind of all close together. The Sea Fortress. Imagine placing that in. Holy smokes. And then we got the academic library as well. Now, two completely different libraries. I think I'll save that for somewhere else. High interest tower. Is this where I now start to place in some of the tallish buildings? I feel like we need to extend the road network a little bit more before we do. So we'll probably have another connection just there. This in itself, I don't quite know how this is going to go down. I could leave that road as it is. But with saying that, I'm not sure how we're going to connect over in that side. So again, for a moment, leave it as it is. When do I want to start placing down the tallish buildings? And where do I start placing them down? Where will it complement? So maybe I can throw this one in just there, as the old meets the new. in many ways. And then 8 by 11. So down to a 20 and across by a 30. So it's now about trying to create said connections of where I can put these bigger and taller buildings now down. So we have the servicing services building. Now a lot of these buildings, or some of these buildings, we're giving quite a bit of space around them. You can tell we put some space around where we can kind of do like little walkways or, you know, to a certain extent like trees and stuff like that. Just kind of something a little bit different. Well, what are the other tall buildings that I've kind of missed out on? The transport tower. And like I said, I'm trying to create a tall vibe. Then the rest of the stuff around it will do zoning and make it quite tall. We have then the Colossal Order offices, which that is also a fairly large building in itself. So I'm going to throw you in just there. This is where we're now starting to feel the vibe of the tall buildings within the area. Slowly coming together. Slowly. Not too quick though, boys. Not too quick. Slowly. Slowly. Right. Allow you to end just there. So with the... Back to the Royal Road again. And we're trying to do a few more extensions and expansions. So down by a 20 into here. We'll cut across where I can. It's now all going to be all different because the way the buildings kind of now align. And I reckon we kind of... We'll go down to the 30 there. Trying to at least create some areas where we can, you know, benefit from the zoning. The Grand Mall, not so much just yet. We could do the Science Centre. I don't know whether to place it like inside the areas or just off them. We'll go just there with that. The Science Centre. And we could do the Expo Centre. Expo Centre with the Science Centre. Or do I have like a little miniature own area for it? How would this look here with that? The Expo Centre in, and we can do some car parking and go around it. That creates a nice little, like, unique little landmark, doesn't it, in that area? Okay. Okay. Right, any other... the aquarium. We'll save that for some type of, like, shoreline kind of destination that we do create. And then we got a few of the other big buildings as well. The stadium. What was this one here? Sorry, this was the Cathedral of Plenitude. We have the Sea and Skyscraper. Another tallish building that we can kind of throw in. Again, this is all to kind of slightly build up the skyline. The Theatre of Wonders, baby. Theatre of Wonders. There's definitely somewhere I can throw this in. So down by the 20. Just lead that slightly out. And then the Theatre of Wonders. Magical. All on the edge right now where the trains run round. It's quite a cool little feature as well, isn't it? I like it. I like it a lot. So this is just placeholdering a bunch of the taller buildings. That's pretty much all we're really doing. There's many other buildings we can kind of squeeze in. There's the Railway Company Headquarters. Now, for some reason, that also sounds like a cool building to kind of squeeze in. I don't know whether it's something that you would maybe want to squeeze in around a rail line somewhere. We'll kind of save it. And also, you know these round stadiums? This is something else I kind of thought about. Is maybe plonking one of these down in the center of where the train runs around. Maybe not something too big, but Could that be a good idea, or is that just completely stupid? I'm not too sure. We've got the Mall of Marvels. This is all shopping, isn't it? Related. This is all shopping related. Which I kind of held out for until we start doing, you know, shopping areas to that extent. The International Trade Building. Is that a huge, tallish one as well? Kind of. We're squeezing that just there. Now, some of it needs to be in certain areas, and obviously other bits and bobs will be in other areas. The Stock Exchange. Another important building. We place this, what, behind the courthouse? Seems reasonable. And, can we do, like, another round of roads just up here? We'll cut that through. Is that on a diagonal? I don't know if that seems like it's on a diagonal. Or if it was just me. Now, there is nothing stopping me bringing this road all the way through. But I'll... Oh, where am I going? Where am I going? It scares me. But I don't know how I'd feel about that just yet. Because I don't know, in reality, what I would pretty much build. So let's look at this without a lot of the electricity and water problems right now. The shadows... That building right there is completely in the shadow of this one. It's like, you know, like that there is a saying in Monaco that you should never buy an apartment with a view, because at some point you will lose the view. There's some similar saying to that, because in Monaco, because it's such a small place, and apartments and buildings are always getting taller to accommodate more and more people living there. If you had a sea view, 5 years down the road, there's probably now an apartment in front of your view. that's how it works there. I find it quite funny. Right, very good. There's still a lot more we can add to it, and we will place down some zoning that does create the tall skyscrapers. Like, you can see the tall skyscrapers, like the buildings over here, then especially in the our little kind of financial and like IT clustery kind of industry, tall buildings that will really then complement and fill the gaps. I just want the unique buildings in the middle that we can utilize them. So let's just give them some actual services right now. Let's give them some water. So I'm going to bring this all the way up. So we'll give them some water. We'll give them some power. And then we'll go from there. And we'll go from there, boys. Alright, that's all nice and covered. Very good, very good, very good. So, I don't know whether to squeeze a few little more bits and bobs in, just kind of connect all electricity, so I haven't got to have these crazy power lines spread everywhere. But I'll just kind of do this connection for now, just to have some type of power in this area. And what I mean by that is I can place down a couple of like buildings. Oh, the banking stuff as well. We got the skyscraper bank. Although it means nothing at this moment in time, because obviously we're going to fill it eventually with zoning and stuff. I might put that on the crisscross of the road just there, which that will also pass some power over as well. All these tall, you know, unique buildings that are going to look really, really good. We have the larger bank and obviously the small bank. And then, of course, we've got over here some police boxes. This is all to do with the policing. Weirdly, they bunch the banks with the policing. I don't quite understand why they do that in this. I'm not too sure. Now, is there any... There's nothing in here that I could maybe utilize, is there? There's car parks, which we will eventually get in. I just want to double check there's nothing really I can squeeze in that we're kind of missing. Ooh. Oh, hotels, of course. Now, this is a... We've got lots of sightseeing. We've got a bit of business and a little bit of nature. Sightseeing, bit of business. I mean, we will eventually have shopping, so I might squeeze in a couple of tallish hotels. I don't think I've implemented any hotels within SnowFool, have I? So a nice little hotel there. We'll go for the 2 tall ones and the city hotel. Have a nice... We'll throw in 2 city hotels. We'll have one there. And then one there. For beautiful little panoramic views of the courthouse and the little park area nearby. Now, I ain't going to worry about those 2 buildings right now. It is what it is. But we have now power. We have power. We now need to connect it to a highway system. So, there's 2 ways in which I can do this. I could either connect this one over here. And then great access. Or I could connect this one, which will kind of fly under. I'm going to elevate the train line. And you get a connection on both sides. I mean, I could just do both. You know what I mean? I think we'll start with this one first, because this one's going to be a trumpet. We know this one's going to be a trumpet, and it's going to be just like this one over here. I mean, I could clone and pick them up and copy them, but they're all going to be slightly different in their own unique ways. So let's kind of just go as normal. So we've got the road in question. We're going to raise this up, which actually, this is slightly raised anyway. I've got to raise this up even more than usual. So I think it's by a 6, right? Yeah, which it's going to be raised a little bit higher. But I'm going to go for a 14. And over. And then we'll come out by a 5 just there. And then we'll bend this in. So I'm thinking I bend it this way, just to kind of utilize this little bit of dead space that's remaining. So we'll go by... I normally do a 6 by 6. 6 by 6. 6 by 6. And then we kind of then pretty much splitting at the bend. So we're going to then create a... So I just quickly just come off this here. And do a 6 by 6. Six by 6. And then just slightly reposition it to fine tune where I want it. Which I'll go with that. That's completely fine. Completely fine by me. And then we'll quickly create the connections to lead in. And then we'll just do a little bit of fine tuning. I feel like this one here might be pushed just slightly out by 1. There we go. See, that's now better. That's now better. Now, obviously, we've got to get it all to the right heights and stuff. But again, we'll come back to that in just a moment. Because we now also need to set this up. So the bend's taking place here. Do I do 7 by 7s or 8 by 8s? 8 by 8. 8 by 8. And of course, we've got to flip this one round. But I'll also bring this a little bit closer. So I did it by 4 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, let's pause that for a second. We have our connection, or roads leading up to it. We now just need to connect it all up. So I'll worry about the elevations of this side in just a moment, and obviously here too. We just need to bring this just up a little bit. Just so I can then, you know, get the connection all situated just right. So, gonna get to elevate. Now this is by a 14, so we could pretty much get to a 10 over a 12. And I don't know whether we can kind of maybe elevate you as well. We'll do like a nice incline. And we'll then bring this in. So that to there is an 8. So I'll do a 4 to split the difference. And then a highway road. So obviously this will go directly in. And then we'll have you to connect. And what's the issue? Are we too close? It could be just these, right? If I bend that out... Yeah, it's just them. It's just them and the height difference is what the issue is. Yeah. Okay, let's sort this height difference out right now because it's going to be a little bit of a bigger problem than you think. But we'll go from there to there. I mean, 11% gradient. It is kind of a little bit crazy, right? Right, there we go. Now it's all nice and smooth. Right, we've got to quickly now select this, and this to be the object height of the actual highway itself. And then we'll add in the connections first before we do anything else. So we'll go for an 8 on these connections. I don't think it's going to play ball on that one, is it? 8. It's either all or nothing. Eight. Right, let me just flip around the ones that need to go in the right direction. And then we'll quickly bend these beautifully. And obviously with the lane math in question, we then need to reduce these to a single lane, and then quickly just sort out the connections so no one crisscrosses. As one lane turns off, becomes single, and as another lane then turns back on. Sort out that one just there, just here, just there. And I think this should be pretty straightforward, right? Okay, maybe not. So you go that way, you go this way. Straight on, straight on. You go down there. You're here. Done. So believe it or not, we're actually now all connected. We just got to do the elevation change and all of this. And I'll just make sure on these junctions that they can fly through it. Because sometimes they like to get stuck and like slow down for oncoming vehicles, and it is really annoying. So let's just sort this out. So from there down to here. Well, actually, we'll do from there to there to there. There we go. Then there to here. There we go. So the gradient's now all perfect. So I can put it actually into play mode right now. And we can now, actually physically access this area only by that connection. We'll have obviously a connection here as well, and we'll probably also, I don't know whether we would kind of create a connection going through. I don't know what we would build in this area or how we would access it. I'm not 100% sure just yet. So if I did a connection, they're all filtered this way to turn onto there down the highway to be a lot quicker. So maybe I don't. Maybe I just don't. To be honest with you, it might be a good idea in some regards. So I could put some zoning down anyway, but the problem is right now I've got one hell of a residential demand. So I could put some commercial down though. Nothing's stopping me doing that. So we'll do some high density commercial to begin with then. And I'll just throw it in a couple of various areas to begin with. I'll do it just to there with that. And then there. So that will spend that commercial demand. We'll plant down some trees. There we go. Actually, move up the strength. Is that maybe a little bit too much? And then we'll do it down the sides just here. Because if we whack a roundabout there, at least we got some trees down in and around it. Oh, no, and around and under the highway. That's kind of important. I feel like it's... Even though that strength is like really low, it's quite strong, isn't it? It is quite strong. Right, we'll get too carried away if I keep continuing. But we're starting to get, anyway, some high-density commercial coming down. And look at the size of the buildings. Oh, no, I'm thinking this was the zoned commercial. We got to wait for the commercial to kind of zone itself up. But we do have the residential demand, which we'll start placing in over here. And then fit in, you know, all around this area. And then we've also got to then start thinking about public transport as well on this side. But I feel like we need to build a little bit more of the road network up first. Now, the question is, we have... Oh my goodness me, we're experiencing a huge death wave. Pause. Okay, before I solve this death wave, we have, you know, the combining of tram routes and metro. Am I doing trams over here, guys? What do you reckon? I'm not sure, because we don't really have the loops for the road at the moment, but we can create something magical for that. Why have we got such a big, like, death wave? Death care? I mean, we probably do need to add in some more capacity for it. So there's one, which will slightly up our capacity. Is that all I have? Wait, do I not have any more hospitals than this? No, we've got a couple of hospitals. Yeah, we've got a couple of hospitals over here. I could throw in another crematorium just there. And I can do another one on the corner just here. There we go. So that definitely increases our capacity. It almost doubles our crematorium capacity. So hopefully that gets solved fairly quickly. Now, vehicles are making their way in, but it has recently snowed. Or is snowing right now. So, traffic is moving very slow. Oh, do you know what? I'd like to do like a grand terminal here as well with the train lines. There's so much stuff we could actually do within this new area that we could do differently to the main area. Because we have a little bit more freedom to kind of work with it. Right, let's have a little fast forward then. Let's hopefully we can get rid of these dead bodies. I wonder what this death wave has come from. We don't really have any... Oh, don't say we've got pollution. Pollution. Ground... We have ground pollution. I don't know what it's all from then. What do you reckon it's all from, this? All this death? Do you reckon it's just a case of we didn't really have enough vehicles? Because this is another thing as well. I don't know if I can still do it. Better crematoriums. I could used to be able to change the vehicles that were on it. There's like 20 hearses being used right now. What? What? But is that number coming down on the death care? It is. It is drastic. It was like nearly 500. So that number is coming down. Yeah, that number's definitely coming down. Okay, no stress. No stress. Nothing to worry about. Chill your beans. Oh, it's too funny. It is too funny. Too funny. Right, anyway, snowplows already made their way over here right now. Yo, look at the amount of traffic coming in. Now, this is what I was slightly worried about. It's only because it's a lot of buildings that are touristy, if that makes sense. And we have a couple of hotels over here as well, don't we? I mean, are they being used? They're actually making a profit, which is straight away already amazing. This one, not so much, but we need more business-related stuff within the vicinity, and that's where I can zone some offices. That's what I'm saving some of the spaces for. Is some offices. So it will eventually get what it needs. It will eventually go. Yo, look at the traffic, boys. You got snowplows. You got people sightseeing right now as a tourist. It's slightly ridiculous, isn't it? It is slightly ridiculous, the amount of vehicles coming in. You don't realise how much of a tourist trap this actually is. And why we need to build other connections as well. Just to spread the load a little bit. Holy moly. Anyway, we'll get rid of some... See, again, This is probably then why you then start wanting to need roundabouts to make the traffic flow. But they're not even hitting where you would have the roundabout. But maybe I could just slightly help these guys out where that's a left turn and that's a straight only. It will slightly split the traffic a little bit. Not that everybody wants to go straight, but it will split the traffic a little bit anyway. Create a bit more of a flow. And hopefully they kind of stay in their lane a little bit earlier on as well. So I'm not saying it's going to solve everything, but damn, we've got some big queues for everybody wanting to visit this, which is now classed as a tourist area, which is quite hilarious. Which you might start seeing a lot more people arriving at the airport, but then again, it's more bigger emphasis on us needing public transport. It is, isn't it? There's a bigger emphasis on us needing the public transport right now. That's now going to officially backlog onto here for the first time. We are slightly moving the... what I could also do, just for now, is just to there, make the lanes forced so they split a little bit earlier, keeping this free flowing. So... not everybody wants to go straight ahead. What is it about this area, then? I wonder what it is. What are the speed limits like? I mean, these are all 50s. Shouldn't this be like a little bit higher? Maybe go 60? Wonder if you then start seeing more movement on these 4-laners. 50's wild for those rural roads. I mean, understand, it's a rural road. That's wild. Right. The backlog is now moving down, but by the looks of it, there's still so much traffic on the way. But it will eventually die down. It's just the initial traffic. If it's always like that, we are definitely squeezing in public transport next episode. There's no ifs, no buts about it. But we're starting to get a few more vehicles heading straight on, so we'll see a little bit more clearance moving through. Maybe, I might reduce this down to like a 40. Just here. Just to slightly trick them to thinking it takes longer to get through here than going straight ahead. Just try and get more vehicles moving that way. It's definitely starting to move. But the backlogs say otherwise. Again, the importance of having multiple connections on a highway. But I'm happy with this anyway. We know it's not going to be like this. There's other stuff that we still need to do. So it will be interesting to see how it all progresses. But this is the start of technically our downtown area, if that's what you'd call it. Oh my goodness me. What is going on? Why do I have no power? Why is this side of the city all of a sudden decided to die on us right now? I've built nothing additional in this area to suck up any more power. Is it because these guys are complaining about fuel? What do you need? Not enough fuel. Well then, order some. What more am I going to tell you right now? Order some. What do you want from me? Sediak, that's not what a mayor would say right now. A mayor would solve these issues, Sediak. Do you know what I've been thinking, guys? I've mentioned this previously, but can you see where water used to run down here? What if I created a dam? Yeah, now I've sparked your interest. That would create lots of power, wouldn't it? That would create lots of power. Right, hold on. I've got to solve this. Wait, what's going on here? This is not the issue, is it? Surely not. That was the issue. There was zone in there that disappeared and caused a fatality for us. What is going on with this? Oh, hold on. I know what it is. I've got these deselected. My bad. My bad. Right, there we go. Yeah? Oh my goodness, mate. There was actually more going on than you assumed. Do you know what? We'll have a connection here. So, it was just that one... That's random how I spotted that. That one little bit of zoning crushed us. Absolutely crushed us right now. So, it's starting to be a lot more flowy here. So, we just got to wait for this backlog to kind of eventually move all the way through. It is going to start slowly going over the bridge, but it's clear. That's the main thing. We're seeing more movement. So, just give it time. We should be all good. Now, how's this park doing already then? Seeing as there's so many people on the way over here right now, it is starting to get quite a few people coming in. And we'll up the ticket price as well to hopefully make a little bit of a profit off that. But, ta-da! We'll see how this rock and rolls. Guys! If you're excited for the next couple of episodes where we now start to build up this area, and I'm really, really excited to see how it's going to pretty much turn out, then make sure you subscribe and smash that like button down below. But until next time I see you all soon, so good. Bye.